blues fans, you found us. Welcome to another episode of This Week in the Blues, our look at blues history 1 week at a time. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Matson, of Big Train and the Locomotives. So let's take a look at what happened this week in blues history.
Blues saxophonist Grady Gaines was born on May 14th back in 1934. He performed and recorded with Little Richard in the 1950s. He also backed other musicians such as Dee Clark, Little Willie John, Sam Cooke, James Brown, Jackie Wilson, and Joe Text. He released 3 solo albums, and he's also the brother of the late blues guitarist Roy Gaines. Blues singer and guitarist Willard Ramblin' Thomas was born sometime in 1902, so we're just going to celebrate his birthday on May 15th. We do know that he was the brother of the blues musician Jesse Thomas. He's best remembered for his slide guitar playing and for several recordings he made in the late 1920s and 1930s. Blues scholars seem undecided if his nickname referred to his style of playing or his itinerant nature. On May 15th, in 1929, blues singer Bessie Smith recorded Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out in New York City. It became one of her biggest hits and is a song that most people associate with Bessie Smith. When Smith's record was released on September 13th in 1929, the lyrics turned out to be oddly prophetic. The New York stock market had reached an all-time high less than 2 weeks earlier, only to go into its biggest decline 2 weeks later, on the Wall Street crash of 1929, which signaled the beginning of the 10-year Great Depression. On May 16th, Johnny Carson and his band leader Doc Severinsen wear fake beards in honor of ZZ Top, who perform Sharp Dressed Man and Tush on The Tonight Show. May 16th is the birthday of blues harp player and singer Big George Brock, who was born this day in 1932. He was born in Grenada, Mississippi, and by the time he was 8, he was working as a sharecropper picking cotton. Brock was surrounded by music, and his father taught him and his brothers how to play harmonica as a child. Later in life, he gave up boxing and focused on his music, forming his own band, Big George and the House Rockers. Blues guitarist Albert King actually played in Brock's band before forming his own. Speaking of Albert King, on May 17th in 1967, he recorded his blues classic, Born Under a Bad Sign. It became a blues standard, as well as an R&B chart hit for King, and numerous blues and other musicians have made it perhaps the most recorded Albert King song. Happy birthday to blues maestro Taj Mahal, born May 17th in 1942. He was born Henry St. Clair Fredericks. He played an enormous role in revitalizing and preserving traditional acoustic blues. Not content to stay within that realm, Mahal soon broadened his approach by fusing the blues with non-traditional forms, including sounds from the Caribbean, Africa, India, Hawaii, and the South Pacific. Little Son Joe was born on May 18th in 1900. Born Ernest Lawlers in Hughes, Arkansas, he's best known for his musical partnership with his wife, Memphis Minnie. He teamed up with Minnie in the late 30s, replacing her previous husband and partner, Joe McCoy. In 1942, he had a hit with Black Rat Swing, although he was billed as Mr. Memphis Minnie. Happy birthday to Big Joe Turner on May 18th, the premier blues shouter of the post-war era. Big Joe's roar could rattle the very foundation of any gin joint he sang within, and that's without a microphone. Turner effortlessly spanned boogie-woogie, jump blues, and even the first wave of rock and roll, enjoying great success with each genre. Turner was a product of the Kansas City music scene. Well, we just covered a few of the highlights here. If you want to know more about these artists or things that happened this week in the blues, be sure to follow our social media pages or visit our website. We'll have a new episode next week. We'll see you then.